So I've been on the fence, to be honest, about bringing back this concept of a channel because I don't want to bring up channels that I can't support on a regular basis. And if you don't know my schedule, it's pretty busy at this point, right? I do Browns content. There's a video pretty much every day there. I have the Worst Take channel where I try to get 3 videos up a week there about the NFL. Then I do AFC North Talk 2 times a week with a special Patreon stream. I also do Cleveland.com on Thursdays. So there is a lot of work here, and I want it to be clear. Like, I'm aiming for at least 1 upload a week on this channel. If I can get a post game, because I do watch every game. So if I have time to do a post game reaction, I'm gonna do it. But I want y'all to know why the concept went away, and why I'm considering bringing it back. And the reason I'm considering bringing it back and why I am bringing it back and relaunching it is this Cavs team, fun as hell, right? Like, it usually, yeah, you get a team that has heart, but you know they're limited when it comes to talent. This is not that case. This is a very talented team that has a ton of heart. And Karis LeVert had a tremendous game, and I don't want that to get lost today. But I also think that this whole week of games, right, since the Cavs have started, 4-1 now, or 3-1? No, 4-1. 4-1 has really demonstrated the difference a superstar player makes on your team, right? You know, we have a hard time quantifying this nowadays, especially, I mean, even back then, because a superstar player's impact can't really just be measured in his stats, right? Or their stats. Because, yes, they can have a tremendous points per game output, or free throw or field goal percentage or 3-point percentage, and we can envision how that's going to affect things. But there is an intangible that a superstar brings that just makes everybody better, right? That's why they're superstar players. All of a sudden, you're getting more out of less because these dudes are stepping up. Look, and a lot of dudes stepped up. We know that Karis LeVert and Donovan Mitchell did the Kyrie LeBron meme, right? The 41 and 41, 82 combined points. Literally what the Cavs did in Game 5 in the NBA Finals. Tremendous. Tremendous. Now, to be fair, you know, LeBron and Kyrie did that thing in finals. They also did it in regulation. But, man, whenever you go 41 and 41 with a teammate, dog, I don't care what comes with it. That's impressive. Evan Mobley, I felt like he had a good game. Not his best, but a good game with 19 points, with 10 rebounds, so a smooth double-double, an easy double-double. He keeps getting more comfortable dribbling the ball and doing some of these ridiculous drives to the basket that he's so good at. You see the flashes where you're like, man, this dude could be Giannis if he develops into a bulky enough frame. You see the jumper. He made a 3 today. So much of this team's long-term future is based on if Evan Mobley can develop enough to become this team's best player. Once he does that, this team's going through the moon. But right now they got Donovan Mitchell, and that changes things, right? And this is something I've noticed. Even when the Cavs are down, they never feel like they're down because they got Donovan Mitchell. And at the end of the day, when you feel like you got one of the best players on the court, you never feel like you're out that game. I use this analogy a lot when I'm talking about how the Browns are going to transition with Deshaun Watson. This is another one I'll use for this, and it's more apt because it's the same sport. If you've ever played pickup basketball and you got the dude, when you got the dude, when you on the pickup squad, right? When you got the guy, maybe it's your homeboy, maybe it's a random, but this dude played college. He can ball a level above everybody. It don't matter what the score is. You're playing hard because at the end of the day, you got that dude. That's what the Cavs have. That's the difference between this year and last year. This is not a game the Cavs won last year. Without Darius Garland, there's no shot they're going to win this game. But this is a game they can win this year because they have Donovan Mitchell. And not just because Donovan Mitchell can score points, because Donovan Mitchell enforces confidence that not even Darius Garland can do it, because Donovan Mitchell has done this in the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell is a proven star. Darius Garland is a rising star. It's not the same thing, right? So now if you're Evan Mobley, if you're Jared Allen, if you're Dean Wade, and Kevin Love, and you're down 10, instead of thinking, man, it's going to be real hard to come back, we got to make a lot of threes and work as a team, you're thinking in your head, we 2 stops and a couple Donovan Mitchell threes away from being right back in this. And that's exactly what happened. The Cavs were down, 15 at some point in this game. Donovan Mitchell comes up, crams a big dunk on whoever that was on the Celtics, a big, tall Caucasian gentleman that he did that to. And then that just sparked it all. The Cavs came back after that, right? This is the difference having a superstar player makes to your team. Caris LeVert played like a superstar today. Let's go through Caris. Let's give Caris his shine. That 75% from 3, dog. 75. He went 6 for 8 from 3. I know they sick in Boston. They gotta be sick in Boston. 6 for 8. And look, the 41 points are impressive, no doubt, from Caris LeVert. But that man was playing defense too, right? That was the biggest, that was the most surprising and refreshing thing from this game, from both Caris LeVert and Donovan Mitchell. We know that Caris is capable of dropping a 50 bomb every once in a while. We know that Donovan is capable of dropping a 50 bomb almost any night. We know these things about those 2 dudes. That's why they're on the team. But their defense today, those were the question marks with these guys, right? When the Cavs brought in Donovan Mitchell, can he play defense? Are we going to have a bad defensive backcourt? Can we get away with playing Caris LeVert in the starting lineup because he's not a good defender? That's a big talking point. Caris LeVert made so many clutch defensive plays. Donovan Mitchell made so many clutch defensive plays. I mean, Caris LeVert had the one play, and it's not even a defensive play. It's more of it's technically an offensive play, but it's a defensive play because you get the rebound, right? He gets the offensive rebound from a missed Donovan Mitchell shot, runs out to the 3-point line, shoots it, makes it. And then I think, a possession or 2 later, picks off. He picks off a pass to get the ball back. And that essentially started the fall, the avalanche that ended this game. And of course, he made the game winning with a game clinching 3, and then he made the game clinching flagrant foul. Like, he ended the game. But it wasn't just because of what he did offensively, it's what they both did defensively. We know Jared Allen is a great defender. He's the best defensive center in basketball. We know Evan Mobley cold on the defensive end. We know he's so good at the defensive end, Evan Mobley. We take it for granted. People be like, oh, he only scored 19 points. Like, he's not the best defender on the team. Like, we know Evan got that locked down. Like, once Evan checked into that game in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, it got cold for the Celtics. Cold defender. Dean Wade's been a nice surprise, right? He didn't have a good game. Well, he didn't have a especially notable game today. He went 1 for 2 from 3, only 4 points. But he's been solid. He's been real solid for what the Cavs have been asking for. And you can start to see it with this team. And we ain't really even seen Donovan Mitchell out there with Darius Garland, right? And now there's going to be a question, hey, what are you going to lose defensively when you put Darius Garland out there? Because we know Darius Garland has certain flaws as a defender, but at point guard, he can get away with it. If Donovan Mitchell can play defense like this, we have nothing to worry about, right? And I think the worries that some Cavs fans have with Darius Garland coming back are the same worries that we had with Colin Sexton, because we're thinking about spacing, we're thinking about defense, and that's just not the same problems you're going to have, because Donovan Mitchell is a true 2. He's a true 2 guard at the end of the day, right? So you're not going to have the same offensive congestion issues because he can catch and shoot. Colin Sexton couldn't play 2. He couldn't catch and shoot like that. And then he can create off the dribble. He's going to create some gravity. You're going to get some one-on-one looks for him. Like, it's going to create a lot of freedom for Darius Garland. And then defensively, since Donovan Mitchell can handle a responsibility on the defensive end because he has super long arms, he's been a really good defender this year so far, going back to his Louisville days. So, he's really been active on the defensive end. He's talked about that in the JJ Redick podcast, that this is something that he wanted to improve, that he wasn't satisfied with last year. And it definitely shows when you watch him play this year. This is like, if you are worried about fit, this fit works. This fit works. And what's going to be really exciting for this team, and what I'm really looking forward to, is the Cavs' biggest problem right now is when they have to go to those second units to give Donovan Mitchell rest and give Karis LeVert rest. They really don't have anybody who can initiate and score other than like maybe Cedi Osman, but it's not a good group there after that, right? Like, Kevin's in there. He's not really a creator. Raul Neto is in there. He's not really a creator, even though he's fine for what they ask him to do. But once you get Darius Garland back, you could play with the rotations a bit, so that now DG might be out there with the second unit for a couple of minutes, and then you sub in Donovan Mitchell for the other minute. So you always have a creator. That way you can have Karis LeVert out there too. You can make that rotation work, and then obviously they're going to get more and more players back that are going to help the ball movement with that second unit. So the Cavs' biggest issue right now is second unit scoring. To what I've seen so far in the season, it looks like there's a solution there. Now, there is one negative thing that we have to talk about, one elephant in the room that we have to talk about, and that is unfortunately Isaac Okoro, who's a player that I had a lot of fondness for last year, but he's been unspeakably bad. His plus minus was -12 today. He made 2 points. He had 3 fouls or something like that. Something ridiculous. 3 or 4 fouls in like 10 minutes. 5 minutes. He is the player that is losing their fit, because now that Karis can defend at an adequate level at that 3-guard position, not at the 3, the small forward position, he really doesn't really have a role, because he's not going to take Karis's minutes in the second unit because he's not a good creator. He's lost in the shuffle. I think he needs to go somewhere else where he fits a little bit better. And I think Lamar Stevens probably fits better in that role than Isaac Okoro does. Not saying I want to give up on him, but sometimes a player needs a fresh change of scenery where they fit better and where they're needed more in order to develop. And I think that's the case for Isaac Okoro. But that was the Cavs game. It's been the Cavs season. This is an exciting team. If you're on the fence about getting invested in this team, they have heart, they have soul, and they got a lot of talent. And that talent's living up to it. I would hop aboard if I were you. This is going to be a fun ride. But that's it. Y'all have a great day. Have a good night.